them come. This is their fate.
Let me get my Birdman hands in here. All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. We're going to have a fun time today because, as we expected, a lot has transpired over the last weekend, and it's going to be a fun time talking about all of the disses and stuff that has transpired. Some weird stuff happened, unfortunately, today, but we'll talk about it all, and everything else in between. A lot of stuff has happened in the gaming industry, so we're gonna try to be really, really brief on a lot of stuff. But I don't know, we might just have to go a little longer on this one. So we'll see. But there's a lot of Microsoft's weird stuff happening, a lot of Sony weird stuff happening, and we just trying to play catch up here with all this craziness. But yeah, before we get started, per usual, Jalen, Josh, tell the people how you been, what you've been up to, what you've been doing, how life going. Talk to the people. I actually heard we got some games beat, so talk to the people.
Yeah, I'll take it up first. I've been great, getting a lot of good music. Some people would say it's a y'all boy outside getting beat on, but I think we're gonna get into it. But Drake and Kendrick, I can say over the last week, 2 weeks, have put a lot of good music. So I've been listening to all their music. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, a lot of people talking about it because it's kind of like the biggest thing in, like, one of the biggest entertainment culture things to happen this month. And yeah, just been enjoying it, and been going back to listening to like people's old catalogs and stuff, just enjoying music, which is good because me, like, I like rap, and I like a lot of artists. I don't like have too many that I don't like, but I'm also the type of person that kind of, I get like a good playlist or something, and I kind of just listen to that. I'm not always looking for new music.
Right.
So at least this has got me justifying my subscriptions, and I'm downloading and listening to a bunch of new music that I haven't listened to a long time.
Gotcha.
Outside of that, yeah, just been hanging out with the family. Golden Week just wrapped up. We spent a lot of time going out to different parks, having picnics with like different friends and family. The weather's been pretty decent. It's humid, so you will be sweating, but it's not too like unbearable. Which is nice because the weather here has been something to get used to. It changes a lot, and it's a lot of extremes. Outside of that, just trying to still play my same few video games. I wrapped up Dragon's Dogma a while back, and then I moved on to Stellar Blade. That it's been an experience. I'm enjoying it. It's just some stuff that's just like I guess annoying me. I just did a level where, because they got like a gun in the game.
Yeah.
But I did a level where you can't use your sword and you only got to shoot. And you fight regular enemies, and you got a boss at the end. It wasn't too hard. It's just kind of, this game is not your strong point, and we have to do a whole level as this. It's kind of a weird choice, but I guess it wasn't too long.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm enjoying it. If y'all, I don't know if y'all seen anything else about it. I know they had a bunch of controversy up front, but I feel like it just came out and it's not like being talked about as much.
No. Which is a good thing. Is a good thing because some games, they let the people kind of make that decision and not have everybody trying to kind of boast it or make it, less than what it is too. So it's fine if no one's really, so much is happening right now that nobody is really talking about Stellar Blade and it's just letting it be, versus trying to change people's perspectives, which is good. That's fine for me.
Yeah, and I guess since I'm on Stellar Blade, I can say a few like three quick things that I feel like are, my opinion's not going to change. Is I feel like the game is fun. The combat, I like the abilities, and it keeps adding to it and gets more fun and more flashy, which is good. The enemy variety is kind of too small. So, and I'm
Okay.
still like pretty early. I'm not even halfway through, but I feel like the enemy variety. Every now and then you might see like a different like squid type monster thing, but they're pretty similar archetypes, maybe a little variation. But it's kind of too repetitive because you fight a whole lot of enemies. Like they're everywhere, so it kind of gets repetitive. Um, the story, I don't understand it. I'm trying to pay attention. I don't understand it, so I don't
Gotcha.
feel like it's gonna be anything that's gonna satisfy me in the end. But again, I wasn't going into the story expecting anything. Um, the the uh the art of the character is well done.
Okay.
But I feel like a lot of the outfits and a lot of the camera angles, I feel like I shouldn't be seeing this without tipping a whole bunch at a strip club. Like this that's I feel like I'm stealing from somebody who's trying to feed her kids on the show. And
What?
I'm not putting in what I'm supposed to be putting in.
Oh, I see. I see. I don't know how to respond to that one. Yep. But
Yeah,
yep.
it's me either. I just did a side quest and like somebody tried to rob you. She fall down and the cameras, doing the camera thing where it ain't supposed to be. uh, but I mean, that's what they marketed, not fully marketed, but that's what um, that was one of their goals with the game, and I guess they did very good.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Can't
Um,
play that around the
but
kids.
yeah, outside of that, yeah, no,
No,
not around the kids.
not
Don't let
suitable.
your
Not suitable for
mama
work.
know. Even
Yeah.
your wife can be like, what you doing? I'm like, I didn't
Hey,
do
that's
it.
how you be when you're watching anime. And they just come out of nowhere. It's a scene straight boobies. I'm like, come on, bro. They would just get into it. I
I
swear
just
they
said
would
I
just
go
get
watch.
into it. Hey, nah, bro, you already
Yeah,
watching it.
I swear I was just fighting this squid monster for 30 minutes, and then now the camera just started.
Nah, the camera, like, bruh, you be looking like a whole creep. But yeah, I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
the overall, I feel like my thoughts are gonna be pretty consistent. So I feel like it's a pretty solid game, like a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Not too many
Okay.
bad things. Not amazing, but it's pretty good. What I will say is that I feel like what I want, how to put it, congratulations to developers. I think they did a good job for their first AAA game. I would
Yep.
like to see them, do it again, do a sequel
Okay.
or a new IP. But I feel like what I can say is that I feel like if they wanted to collaborate with Square Enix or something, like I would actually be happy with them just doing Near if they want to do another Near game and give it to them or collaborate with them in some way, because I feel like they're clearly inspired by it, but they did a really good job with making that style of game. And if they wanted to, do a collaboration, like I feel like they would do a good job. So I feel like that's a really good praise on their end, because a lot of people like to copy and like, oh, I'm gonna make a Chrono Trigger like game, and it's not always as good as like what they
Right.
reference. But I feel like this is a pretty good thing. I mean, the story, like I said, the story and the writing may not be the best, but that's kind of something you can like change with the right people. But the actual overall game is hard to get that feeling really good where you feel like, oh, this is a nice representation of this genre or style or whatever.
Yep. Okay. Well, cool, cool, cool. I'm glad that you like it. I'm glad that you said that you want a sequel, because that means that they did enough right, and you kind of want to kind of see them grow with that. I don't know if you want them the IP to continue with Stellar Blade, but maybe something of that
I mean,
nature.
I'm not. Yeah, I haven't finished it. I'm not gonna knock it and say like no more Stellar Blade, but I feel like they have talent that if they want to do more of this or do something new, that yeah, I want to see them get better. Maybe
Cool.
Stellar Blade 2 story is fire, but so far, it's only okay.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool. What about you, Jalen? I know you beat some games, man. You finally beat some games again. Nah, I'm just playing. What you beat, man? What you been up to?
Shoot, I ain't been up to a whole lot. Same old, just kind of hooping and stuff. Just working out.
I
Um,
saw you do a 5K, right?
yeah,
It's pretty cool.
yeah, I did a 5 mile run. I'm in this run club now.
Run
They just
club.
put me in there. And yeah, so my brother, he was in a run club and they had wanted me to go in there. Originally I had started running and stuff a little bit more frequently to kind of hold my brother accountable, but they're like, hey man, keep running with us. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm not gonna lie to you, running can kind of get expensive, like if you just kind of partaking in these races and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
it
I
costs
will
a
say
lot.
it give a little bit of yeah, but definitely do. It
I think
does
I
give
had
like a
spent like 150 on some shoes because I was like, I got like a weird foot, and like when you're running a lot, it kind of causes. I don't know. It's just basically you need the right shoes. So I had to go get these nice shoes and get my foot fitted just to run. And I was like, bro, $150, and then I had to pay 90 to just go run. I'm like, I ain't doing it no.
yeah, I was about to say. I mean,
Oh,
like some
like,
Brooks and stuff like that. They probably gonna
yeah,
cost you around 150 if you want the right insole. That's like
yep,
tape for your foot and stuff like that. It can be costly. I think the 5 mile run that I had just did. I think that costed like it was like $60.
yeah,
And I'm not gonna cap, bro. You got the little event break thingies and stuff like where you register. I'm not
yep.
gonna lie to you. I'm tired of the processing fees, the little service charges, the admin fees, whatever they want to charge you and stuff like that. Because I'm start adding up, man. They be hitting you for like $5 a piece, and you just like, all right, what we doing here? So,
Yeah.
that part of it a little bit get annoying and stuff like that. But like I said, the overall run and stuff like that is rewarding and stuff. And I don't know if people ever did 5Ks for real or just anything like that. I mean, I'm gonna say it's therapeutic and stuff like that, but I mean, everybody should give it a try at least once. Either they got to walk
Yeah.
it or run it and stuff like that. So it's a good feeling of accomplishment and stuff. So,
Okay.
aside from that, I mean, game wise, I haven't been doing too much. I have played uh, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order because I love calling it Fallen Jedi. I had just beat that game. Deontay is
Mm-hmm.
thinking I was a goofy because I didn't know when the timeline took place, and I thought it was two Darth Vaders. Whole time I'm over here thinking that the game took place after Episode 6, but it took place between Episode 3 and 4. So I didn't know that until the end of the game when I seen Darth Vader pop up, and I'm just I'm surrounded by utter confusion. So um, but obviously we had talked about that and got all that kind of like squared away and stuff like that. Not super familiar with the Star Wars story, or I mean, I know the overall Star Wars story and stuff like that. Just all the intricacies and stuff. I haven't actually seen the Star Wars for real. I haven't really consumed any Star Wars media besides seeing some of the episodes of Clone Wars that came out in 2003 ish on Cartoon Network. A
Mm-hmm.
little bit of like the 2007 series that had came out and on Cartoon Network. I didn't really watch that one. I just remember seeing some of the 2003 one. Additionally, I played Lego Star Wars. I mean, so y'all can see how much Star Wars I didn't consume. I ain't even really played none of the games, to be honest with you either. So,
Okay,
but
okay. A lot of negative. Did you enjoy the game? That's the question, really. Did you enjoy it?
uh, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I feel like the game is a little bit dated. I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel like the movements and things
Uh,
like that was clunky, and how to just just jumping around and just grabbing on to other things, how well he catches on to it, the lock
mm-hmm.
on. So I don't know. It was like it was some dated features and stuff in there that I could see. I think the game came out in 2019 or whatever, but I mean overall I enjoyed the game. I wouldn't say the game was a bad game or anything. Like I definitely enjoyed it. I mean I give it like a 7.5, 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Obviously I'm playing it in retrospect or I was playing it after its time, but I think the game was overall solid. I mean, I had started the sequel because I know that had just came out and stuff like that, so it had to be cool enough for me to come back after not playing it for a year and a half, or yeah, a year and a half to actually come back and beat it. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
a good thing. So like I said, I enjoyed the game. I'm playing a sequel now. I'm gonna see how that is and
Okay.
just keep it pushing and not forget the timeline. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. For me, I guess I jump straight into it. I really haven't done anything additional. I've been playing a lot of Dead Island 2. I'm really enjoying it. Just playing on the Steam Deck OLED. Actually runs pretty well. Does dip to the 30s every now and again when you got a lot of enemies on the field, but mostly it's a pretty decent locked 45 at low settings though. But it still looks good. I don't know. Low settings ain't low settings no more. Low settings is like console quality, honestly. So I like the fact that I can play that game and enjoy it and get through it. So I have been enjoying the game itself and the experience I'm having with playing it on the go. But stuff just dropped like Hades 2 and Prince of Persia just got a little discount, so I just bought that. So I'm like, shoot, should I switch and play those now? Because those both run well on the deck as well. But I'm gonna try to stick to Dead Island, finish it up. I got the one with the DLC too, and I was like, shoot, I don't even think I'm gonna be able to play that if I'm not like, cause I like the game. I like the game a lot, but it's just like, I know they're like 2 hour snippets, and I'm just like, I don't know if they'd be that interested enough to give them my time. But we just see once I get there to the end. So far I'm liking a lot about the game and the combos and the combat and not combos, but just the combat and stuff like that. It seems it's really engaging and fun to pick up and get new things and go whack a zombie a different way. I love my zombies game, Traylon. But yeah, that's the gist of what I've been doing. Outside of that, I was just listening to a lot, and I'm talking about a lot of breakdowns of this Kendrick Lamar and all of this Drake stuff. And I've been a fan of hip hop my whole life, so obviously it's just a big deal, especially when you got two good people like Kendrick and Drake, good hit makers, going at it at some type of level that you probably would never see again in your lifetime. Which is really cool. It's just really cool. So that's what I've been dissecting. I've been doing that a lot. Been losing sleep, refreshing the Twitter feed, refreshing YouTube feeds every 5 seconds. Like, bro, who else dissecting it? What's new? But it's been quieter after not like they not like us. But there's a lot to talk about here, and I kind of want to keep it not short, but I want to keep it sweet, as in like let's try to get some main points, and then try to continue, because this can be like forever, to be honest with you. So I guess the first thing that I wanted to kind of throw at you guys, get you guys talking first, is kind of when we were, I guess, looking at the beef and everything in totality as of now. Who do you have in the lead? And I guess give it like a 2-minute synopsis of why. I'm gonna go with you first, Jalen, and then I go to Josh.
I mean, just keeping it real brief. I got Kendrick in the lead. One point from an artistic standpoint, Kendrick has displayed his versatility and his ability to convey a message. It almost like with his 4 songs that he had came out, it's almost like he kind of set up like I don't want to call it a trap, but he kind of like set it up on purpose and positioned these little, pieces this way, for him to hit home with that last song. So, he got that aspect. Like I said, he an artist. All that stuff comes into like a work of art. And then, like I said, I'm gonna just keep it real brief. The last piece of it is, the things that Drake and him talk about. He has more depth than what Drake can do. And just the last driving home point is, I mean, if you listen to Drake last song, it ain't even sound like he wanted to do it. Almost like he had to do it in order to save face and try to wrap things up. And it was like he had thrown a white flag. The fact that Kendrick did all these things with the beat playing and being on, in sync with the beat, versus Drake, he did all those things, and then at the end of the song, I think he was just sitting there talking for like 30 seconds with a beat just playing in the background. So he basically switched up off of rapping and stuff like that, just to kind of like let me get all these words and everything I need to say out in the most concise way as possible in order for me to save face and address those other things. Because I mean, he should have just did it on beat. So, um,
Mm-hmm.
basically, Kendrick don't got a domain expansion. Drake do. Kendrick stepped in his domain and turned in. I told you if you ever seen JJK Jujutsu Kaisen, just decimated his domain.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, let me move over to Josh real quick. Go ahead.
Uh, yeah, like I said up top, I think everybody did their thing, but we gotta pick a winner. For me, I feel like it's a clear, like, no debate in Kendrick's favor.
Okay.
But that's not to say that Drake didn't compete. It's just that kind of what Jalen alluded to. I think Kendrick this whole time has really controlled the overall narrative. And I think that works in his favor because it makes Drake seem, in my opinion, it looks like he was always on the defense. Even he's
Mm-hmm.
putting out good songs. We're okay. Everybody's excited for what Kendrick has got next. And it's not we're excited for what Drake has next. We're kind of waiting on Kendrick because, Drake did his thing, but we want to see what this other guy is cooking up because he's uh shown that he's that guy. That's the overall impression that, the two best are competing, but Kendrick is the boogeyman and we want to see what he has to say. That being said, I do have to give Drake his props because I don't even like Drake. I don't listen to Drake. I used to listen to Drake a long time ago, and even still, I don't feel like his music is for me.
Mm-hmm.
But he still, I think, did a good job. 'Cause, like, I really like Family Matters. Like, we talked a little bit throughout the week as the stuff kept dropping. We got to update each other and catch up. But yeah, Family Matters. I really like that one a lot. I like the beats. I like his flow. His content, like Jalen said, is not as for me. It's not as deep as Kendrick, but I think he's still uh he was still skating on the track. He was still doing his best thing, and I appreciate that. Same thing
Yeah.
with push-ups. Push-ups was great. It was a great response. It was a great first blow out to everybody, including Kendrick. Um, the other two tracks are kind of the reason why I'm not at leaning in Drake's favor is because I didn't like Part 6. I think it was okay. It's mostly deflecting all of the
Allegations.
allegations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't feel like it was a strong track on its own, and I don't feel like it really attacked what it wasn't offensive enough as well to like to go at Kendrick. So it's kind of um wasn't strong enough.
Too
And the
many
other track,
holes in the story, kind of where I got from it.
yeah, and with the AI track, I think that one overall was just a miss because I think the idea of the track is good, but using the AI voices, which is kind of controversial. And personally, I don't like it, but controversial overall. So at best, it's kind of a lukewarm song, and it's not even up anymore because they had to pull it down. So it's like it's kind of a foul, so it don't count to some
Mm.
people. But yeah, so overall, I think Drake had two strong tracks, but Kendrick just had more, and they came out faster, and everybody was really excited for it. So I feel like Kendrick overall has done a strong job. Plus, I have to point out that Not Like Us is blowing up, and it's kind of like, do I give Not Like Us 2 points because of how popular it is? But like, no, that song just hit so hard that Part 6, even if Part 6 was a good deflection, it can't compete with that song. So yeah, it feels like a kind of a Drake kind of bowed out, which you brought up some good points the other day, Deontay, where it's kind of he's kind of has to save face and bow out.
Yeah.
And I guess this would be the best time unless you just want to keep going for 5 more songs.
Right. No. I want to. I think I think I have three categories that I kind of want to got you guys to grade on, and I think this is kind of where I boil it down to. Um, Production, um, lyrics, and then maneuvers. Like I think because I can I my pick is Kendrick, but I'm going to play off the just devil's advocate. I'm going to stick with Drake for this point because
We're gonna
simply
leave
I
Maul
want
already.
yeah. Don't bring up that man in my friend. I was like, bro, this man tripping. Maul is crazy. I'm not gonna talk about another man because I don't really care. But it was crazy, like how non Maul we talking about from Rory and Maul's podcast. I heard a snippet. I listened to some of his podcasts. Um, I haven't listened to their podcast in quite a bit of time. That doesn't matter. But what I did listen from this point of view is that Maul is very much so in favor of Drake, and he prefers not to really see all angles. He prefers to see the best of what Drake did and not the worst of what he did. And that's kind of what he was portraying in the conversation. So check it out. It's very explosive and it's very funny, especially if you're interested in seeing, that side of a fan or a fan of a person that wants to kind of just take up for their man. So that's fine, but that is what happened in there, and it was pretty entertaining. But yeah, so I'm just going to take it from the perspective of that because I want to I want to make sure we're catching everything.
Mhm.
And so production wise, let's talk production. To me, production wise, I think um I think Kendrick has production not for the not for the level of quality that it matches what I think, Drake can do, but I think he's the one that took the time to create a menacing track. Like I don't know if I'm saying that right, but a track that seems haunting, a track that makes
Mhm.
you bop, a track that makes you think, and a track that makes you just add extra perspective, right? Like 616 in LA, I think is the weakest, but Euphoria to me is a very well done production wise. Not like us, it's at the top for me. And then there is Meet the Grams. That's just a menacing dark beat. Obviously, I never play that again. It just seems like a scary thing to listen to anyway. I don't listen to that no more. I just listen to it one time. I'm done. I don't need to listen to it no more. It's not like I'm scared of the beat, but it's just like not something I'm going to replay. The impact has been made, and I'm done with it. Um, but Euphoria, 616 in LA, Not Like Us. To me, I can debate that Kendrick only has two good ones, and that's Euphoria and Not Like Us. The other ones, they are great, impactful moments. 616 in LA is a bait, and Meet the Grams is the bomb to kill the other bomb. But Not Like Us and Euphoria are the ones that's going to have the replay value, and I think him
Yeah.
starting and ending with that caused his production to seem better, simply because of that. Um, I think Family Matters had no time to breathe, but that song collectively, I think, is the better song than both Euphoria and Not Like Us, simply because of the beat changes and what he was talking about. And I feel like he's the only one that had a video. He had a really good production. That's why I say production. I'm not talking about. I think I have to leave out the rapping right now. I'm just talking production.
Mhm.
I think he had added value with the actual video, the quality of the beats, the switch ups, kind of similar to Euphoria's, and push ups and Family Matters being a continuation of each other. I think that was a really cool callback. I feel like that production was cool. I think that song is really dope. So, to me, they're tied in regards to songs with replay value and production, which is Family Matters and Push Ups versus Not Like Us and Euphoria. Tailor Made Freestyle, I actually do like the production on that. But again, the antics caused it to fall to the wayside, just like the antics and Meet the Grams made it fall to the wayside. Because the beat is menacing and cool. It's just so dark and disrespect. I don't really want to listen to it no more. I don't know. I don't know if that's just me, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just me.
I enjoyed it. Like you said, when I was listening to it, I was like afraid of what's gonna happen. But overall, yeah, it's not a track that I would like listen to repeatedly.
Yeah.
I do like 616 in LA. Like I do think that sits along with like other stuff Kendrick has done. So I can see myself like maybe not every day listen to it, but yeah, come back to it and then go into the next song, listen to Not Like This or something. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I kind of wanted to kind of first talk about that production. Now, what are y'all perspectives? And I'm gonna try to give you guys like 1 minute, 2 minutes to kind of talk through it. But production wise, from what I just said, what are y'all rebuttals?
Production wise, well, to be honest, I agree. I think Kendrick, the Meet the Grams is the weakest production wise, just because it's very repetitive. Like it's a very I think a good track, but it's like 6 minutes and the beat doesn't change at all. His voice changes a little bit, but it's repetitive. Like if it was a shorter snippet and he switched it to something else, then I think it would be worth more. But yeah, that's the weakest as far as production wise. And yeah, again, I have to give props to Drake because he didn't have any weak tracks until the end. I feel like Hard Part 6 is kind of the weakest.
To me,
but the other ones were extremely good. Like I think, like you said, Family Matters has probably all the best overall production. Even though I don't think that one is the best overall diss, I think it's best overall song that was made outside of Not Like Us.
Right. Okay. What about you, Jalen? Any rebuttals? Or are you in favor?
Oh no, I'm in favor. I mean, my opinion is pretty much coincides with Josh's. I mean, the like you said, the production, everything. I mean, Drake didn't really. What I'm trying to say, Kendrick, he didn't. He just went straight to the studio, said what he had to say, put it out. I mean, Drake took time to make a video and all this type of stuff too, and you know, that helps out with everything. But again, like just song wise, I think Not Like Us is the best. I'd say the next best song will probably be Family Matters.
Okay.
But just not speaking lyrically or anything like that. So
production, okay. All right, let's move on to lyricism. And lyrics. So when I was I was debating adding in like that and first person shooter because I think it's just gonna just give it to Kendrick anyway because Like That's first was a lot better than anything lyric wise that Drake did on first person shooter. Like if I was mentioning J. Cole, I'd be like, okay, that's different. But Drake didn't do nothing for that track really. Not that much anyway to me. So what I'll start with is just what's push-ups and go from there to the Hard Part 6. To me, Kendrick does get the lead for lyricism because that is the one that I had to continuously go back to and to understand what was being said. I understand Drake he's capable of doing that and the other because he did some of that in Family Matters, but it's just like more so names and like conventional things, like you gotta look up something, but versus Kendrick just makes you have to think a little bit more, and I don't want to give Kendrick the lead simply because he makes you think more, but when it comes to lyricism and double entendres, all that stuff comes into play, and it is important for people to be able to not only understand the first meaning, but that second and third meaning that you're trying to portray, and you're calling back to certain things and providing wordplay on top of wordplay with the like flipping the 20v1 line, flipping the Family Matters line on Not Like Us, flipping pretty much a lot of what Drake was saying in response. Those things created a a bubble for Drake, that, or at least a vacuum for Drake that he couldn't really kind of get out of, because he was being baited into saying certain things, or at least even the responses that he was trying to get across were being null and void a lot, at least in a way that was very cool, like really, really cool to be done. I'm not saying that I think Drake had a one in Heart Part 6, but again, most of it was being defensive, but there wasn't really a lot of strong lyricism on play in a rap battle. I think his lyricism was still great overall, and what he was flipping when it comes to just trying to portray his message to us. But when it's a rap battle, you know how like in a a rap battle, people will take the line from the last round and try to flip it on them, like that type of stuff. I don't know. I'm always been into rap battles and everything, so I kind of hold that to a higher degree when people are able to quickly turn around and flip something on somebody and make them look silly based off something they said. So when I was hearing that type of stuff, I was giving it to Kendrick, but also on top of that, I think Kendrick just had a sharper pen at the beginning, to the point where he was calling back to, like, push-ups going into Family Matters was a great way production wise, but push-ups going into Family Matters, I don't think that they had the level of carryover and precision that I would expect it if you're going to be carrying over in the song, like Euphoria did going into Meet the Graham, 616 in LA, and even Not Like Us. So there was some callbacks and Not Like Us to Euphoria, and it's just like everything about what he was saying and what he was responding to was hitting hard. So there was value in just his cadence and his lyrics, but also his callbacks. So to me, Kendrick had it for that. Now, I guess, what are y'all thoughts on lyricism in regards to the songs? Starting from Push Ups going down to Heart Part 6.
I think, yeah, Push Ups was strong. He came out swinging at Kendrick, taking direct shots at, like, his relationship with Top Dog Entertainment and stuff like that. And I think he did a very good job for Drake, but I don't have as many metaphors or things like that I have to really think deeply about. It's just he made a lot of good connections that make sense and it seemed very aggressive. That, along with the beat, it was very good. As far as the diss, though, I don't think of that one as strong, just because it does focus a lot on other people. And even though what he's saying is still good and I still like it, it's kind of not fully as strong as Kendrick, who Kendrick only focused on one topic, which is you.
Yeah.
And maybe your immediate people. Like he didn't talk about anybody else.
Do y'all think that was a bad move to focus on too many people?
I think on Push Ups it was good. On Family Matters, I think that's the weakest part of the how to put it. The second verse or second beat in Family Matters is my favorite part of the song. Mm-hmm. But I don't associate anything in that second part with Kendrick. I just think it's a good song. The first part, where it is, it's a continuation from Push Ups.
Yep.
And then the last part, those are still good, but they're not as strong as the second part. And I think that's kind of a disservice. I think the song is still very good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to explain it. I just think that Kendrick stayed on topic. Drake got off topic a little bit, so that kind of hurts as far as his lyricism, even though he has some good stuff in it. But what I will focus on, I think that the reason I'm feeling Kendrick more in the lyricism front is not the double entendres and things like that. It's just the lyrics that are rememberable from both sides. Kendrick has a whole lot more that I feel like, even if it's simple, like the Pusha T line, or A minor and stuff like that. Kendrick has so many that I can just go back to that are really strong and stand out.
Yeah.
Whereas Drake, he has a couple, but again, some of those focus on other people. Like one of my favorite lines from Drake is Rick reading my Miranda rights, and that's about Rick Ross. But it was really hard line, but it's about Rick Ross. It's not about Kendrick. So that's kind of where I'm at on it. Where because he got off top a little bit, it gives Kendrick a space to just fill it in with many more memorable lines in comparison.
Gotcha. Okay. What about you, Jalen?
Yeah, so hold on, I'm trying to get to my train of thought. It was something that you had said that I wanted to recall, but I kind of lost what it was now. So, I guess just going to the lyrics and stuff like that. I mean, I got to give it to Kendrick. Like you said, it's not what I was thinking of, but just like you said, real briefly, Kendrick not necessarily better because he make you think more. It's just because of how many meanings that he can say with a line, and then you like, oh, that's kind of clever. I like what you did. I feel like he a little bit more knowledgeable. You know, the line about John Stockton and Karl Malone. And he can drive a point and make you think about it a little bit more. That further reinforces his point. So essentially, let's just talk about how Drake stuff was, how Kendrick lyrics was. Generally, when you make a strong essay or something like that, you got a thesis statement. This is the point that I'm trying to make, and then I'm gonna give y'all supporting details on the point that I'm trying to make. Kendrick did that, and like he had from Euphoria, everything that he had said. Most of his points are pretty consistent, and he drove in on them like in different ways and shapes and forms. Gave you different metaphors, topic sentences, examples, all those sorts of things. And his little double entendre, they still had the same point that he was driving. It wasn't a metaphor be like, well, this is something far-fetched, but this is something on point, but they still relate to the same thing. His stuff was, let's say, A minor. He talking about their music. He talking about a kid. Somebody said it's a couple like kids stuff. People talked about is more stuff with that too, but I didn't dive that deep into it. So he drove in on those points, made a catchy thing, strictly like, so the lyrics really, really stuck. Like Josh said, the Miranda rights one and stuff. I mean, it was cool. I did appreciate that. I still stand on the podium or the soapbox that Rick Ross was a correctional officer. I don't know if correctional officers really read Miranda rights and stuff like that, but I still thought it's funny because people love to say he a cop. So they're different things from what I understand. I mean, y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I understand. So like I said, from the lyrical standpoint, Drake seemed a little bit more scattered. And when you think about it, if I had to think about Kendrick writing an essay versus Drake writing an essay, metaphorically, the way I put it is Kendrick knew what he was going to write on an essay, and he drove down and did all that on that essay. Drake almost seemed defensive because it was almost like it was a time crunch. You're trying to finish up a paper or sentence or statement or math question. You kind of like helter and skelter and like, oh, I need to hurry up and finish, and I need to do that. And his thesis wasn't as narrow. Kendrick said all the things he said, for the most part, it was pretty concise. These are the same things. He stood 10 toes down on what he said. He might have added a couple pieces and stuff like that. Drake, I felt like he kind of didn't really know what else to talk about, and maybe tried to deflect some of that by talking maybe about Rick Ross. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and just said that, maybe he couldn't think as well, and he wasn't deflecting by trying to talk about somebody else. So just to summarize, not to summarize everything, the last little piece is that, like I said before, Drake got a couple different angles he gonna attack you from. He gonna go either use the internet, that's his domain expansion, and try to say different things like, this is real, like I said, I know we talking about the lyrics, but he focused on Kendrick lyric and go post something about it on Instagram or on a story or something to go defend his standpoint. But his lyrics is talking about something about Kendrick fiance or whatever situation they got going on. But, the lyrics ain't hit that hard. He couldn't think of no metaphors or something that's going to really hit hard. So, so he was immune to them basically. Like I said, he told you in the domain expansion, bro. He don't got no curse energy.
Not Drake typing with double space.
Yeah,
And a big
Yeah,
font.
Times New Roman 12 font, double space, 1 inch
yeah,
margins.
yeah. Um. Okay. No. That's fair. That's fair. And that's where I was kind of going with it because, um, I think to me, production is a toss up. But lyricism is definitely a definitive winner, which is Kendrick. Um, One move I kind of wanted to get y'all perspective on, if Not Like Us never came out and then it was just Meet the Grams, then the Heart Part 6, does that change the outcome for y'all or not really? I guess yes or no because I don't really want to.
Hold on, say that again. Not Like Us versus Heart Part 6.
No, if Family Matter came out, he stepped on that, and Kendrick stepped on it with Meet the Grams, and then Not Like Us never came out, and we started to be able to dissect Family Matters and Meet the Grams together as diss records, and then the Heart Part 6 came out. Does that, I guess, would that change anything for you, or no?
Uh,
I think it would change the conversation a bit if Family Matters had more time to sit, because it was a strong song, but a whole lot of the reason that it didn't matter is because Kendrick, it seemed like he planned ahead where he dropped 616 in LA, talked
Yep.
about, I know what you're gonna do, and your people around you sketchy, and you need to just chill out. And then Drake dropped, and then 20 minutes later, Kendrick dropped, and it seems like, okay, well, I warned you, and now here it is. And that kind of put Drake in a box where it's like his follow-up didn't come out fast enough, and then Kendrick dropped a bop after. So it feels like, even though, Drake is talking about this was his plan, it doesn't seem like it was your plan because you let Kendrick go crazy for like 2-3 days, and it doesn't look good. Really, realistically, it's all about perception. Even Drake have dropped all the best songs. If Kendrick had the best perception, then it's going to go in Kendrick's favor. So I
So
think,
I
yeah,
guess
if Family
yeah.
Matters sat longer, we got to dissect it, we got to sit with it. I think it would be more of a it would just be
But Meet
more
the
in favor
Gram
of
still
Drake.
stepped on it. I don't want you to take away Meet the Gram stepping on it. I want you to just take
Mhm.
away Not Like Us coming out. Like Meet the Grams stepped on it, and it was effective. But we had like 3 days to figure out. Well, did Drake plant anything, and if it was a successful win on his end to plant stuff, does that change anything? Like I said, because the Heart Part 6 comes out and he says these things on the next track, and like Kendrick doesn't step on not only Meet the Grams but make a bop for people to kind of just fall into that perspective. I was just trying to see would that change, yes or no, like your thought
Yeah,
process on
I
it.
I think it would be stronger to Drake's side. But it
Mm-hmm.
all depends on how he does it. Like if Meet the
Well,
Grams came
Heart
out,
Part 6 is the one
and
that they
then
do it. I guess that's how he does it. I don't know.
yeah,
Which is,
so Hard Part 6 is his response. He's gonna solidify his claim that he tricked Kendrick. All
yeah.
right, that's cool. It depends on the rollout. Like if Hard Part 6 comes out and the same day we get Hard Part 6, I think that's a pretty strong response. It's pretty quick. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty directly addressing that song. And I think that will be a stronger claim on Drake's part. If he waited 3 days like he did or whatever and then drop it, it's not as like um strong. It kind of feels like, I got to do something and let's put something together. But yeah,
Gotcha.
if he was able to capitalize on that where the song came out and you got a quick rebuttal to it, then yeah, it seems like a more
Planned.
believable thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, like I said, Not Like Us knocked it out of the park, and it don't matter what you say.
Exactly. So, and I guess my last one is about maneuvering. I think Lies counted Drake. Kendrick outmaneuvered Drake completely in every aspect. Euphoria was a setup for a a dismantling. Like basically, 616 in L.A. took his thing, took a time step, And it felt like Drake was at that point just copying what Kendrick was doing. Obviously, Family Matters was his Euphoria response. Then Meet the Grams came out and Not Like Us. And then Drake did The Heart Part 6, which was Kendrick's initial thing with 616 in LA. And it just didn't feel as calculated as Drake wanted us to think he was. So, Euphoria, then 616 in LA, then came Family Matters, and then got stepped on immediately with Meet the Grams. And then maybe it was circling that, oh, your information might be fake. But you know what he decided to do with that fake information? Make a bop with it. So, that kind of still, like, he didn't mention the kid at all in They Not Like Us. Like, he just decided to drop the Ozempic ad, whatever the stuff that he thought was fake, right? He still made a bop on the stuff that he thought was true. And that is maybe the pedophilia is what he think is true, right? But it's a song, dissing Drake, that is very strong and it's a club record now. That tells me that he played you at your own game, and whatever you thought you were doing or you thought you had a successful lead, you cannot just overlook the dismantling here. The dismantling of your steps. Your steps, you just kept getting stepped on, bro. Like I don't see how anyone can say the maneuvering could go in Drake's favor in any way. So those three things counted, and two of those three becoming the Kendrick, one being a toss-up. People can try to debate Kendrick's and Drake's lyricism. I'm just counting off these three topics. I'm going production, lyricisms, and maneuvers. I think Kendrick takes two of those three, with a possible 3 out of 3. I mean, it's definitely possible production-wise. People think DJ Mustard killing that beat and Euphoria having all those really cool flips, because the stuff that he was in that song and like the samples, all that stuff had a meaning. So you can say that production-wise he outdid him there too. But if I'm being a Drake stan, I'm gonna give him that one. I'm gonna try to flip the lyricism, but maneuvers, he got outclassed in every way. So, and even if it is fake, it doesn't matter, because you still got outclassed. I think that's the angle people are trying to go with, where they're trying to pull him back and saying, hey, but he fed him this. I'm like, it don't matter. He fed him something that bopped, and when it was time to respond and do that kill shot, you got the kill shot. They Not Like Us, to me, is the kill shot. I think Meet the Grams could have been the kill shot if They Not Like Us didn't come out. But once They Not Like Us came out, that is the kill shot. Like, there is no debating anymore of who won to me, because it provides everything maneuver wise, production wise. It just upticked him in every category for me. Production, lyricism, everything. Like, he was floating on that beat. He ain't had to do all that, but he was floating on that beat for no reason, just disrespecting this man throughout the entire thing. So that is a caliber of, or class, that you just have to respect. So even if you hate Kendrick, or you like Drake more, you have to respect those categories. And what we are trying to do here is trying to solidify the winner. And with those three things in mind, there's no way impossible you can think Drake outdid Kendrick. It's just crazy to me. So that's where I left it. But I'm going to let you guys speak on it. Go ahead.
So, I mean, like, two things. Just, he came out hard Part 6.
Yep.
Well, first off, he went into a domain expansion and started talking on the internet. Mind you, the best part about all this is that Kendrick isn't talking on the internet. The only time Kendrick talk on the internet is when he's rapping over a beat. Them the only words we didn't hear from that man. Yep. So Drake is using his domain expansion, and he like, what I look like talking about something about a daughter, lying, woo woo woo. We planted all that. I had a Mo and OVO, a double agent, revolver ocelot, whatever you want to call them, and he ain't here like we fed you that information so you can run with it to make you look stupid. All right, just real quick, like I had told y'all before. One, if that's let's just say it could be true, right? It could be true. But let's just look at these other aspects. Nobody ever said anything like that or tried taking that angle when somebody had like a beef or something. So it's new, never seen before. Nobody really said something like that before. So I give them props in that regard. But the other aspect of it is, and when you came out with Heart Part 6, you're literally addressing the things that people are talking about in your domain expansion, the internet, and the things that your mole had gave him. You're addressing these things in a whole song that you sound defeated in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, it doesn't make sense. And I'm not gonna ever call Drake a liar. Like, I don't know Drake like that. He could be telling the truth. I don't know his PR team, anything like that. But his track record from the public viewpoint, he's not always the most truthful. And I don't know his reasons why for that, but I'm not gonna argue those things. All I'm gonna say is you're addressing things that your mole had put out. I didn't feel like that. If your mole said something about it, I don't feel like you need to address him or whatever. You could have just like, all right, he made a song with the stuff my mole said. All right, cool. And then on top of that, he elaborates a little bit more deeper on the stuff that his mole said and start mentioning different things that we didn't ask for. I think he said something about molest. He started talking about Millie Bobby Brown, whatever Stranger Things shorty name is. And I'm just kind of like, the way he was conveying the message, he feel like he's backed in a corner. He's just trying to do things. Like I said, he spent the last 30 seconds of the song just talking. We don't want to hear you talk, bro. Rap. So, other point that I'm gonna make. Let's say he my bad, I lost my train of thought. There's another point that I wanted to touch on. But anyway, let's just say he did lie or he did tell the truth. I mean, most of the stuff you rap about and talk about stuff people lie and don't tell the truth. They said they did this, all that type of third. Kendrick took that information and whatever you wanted to talk about with, he took that information and made a bop. So the fact that you're trying to have people lie and I didn't did this and I got you feeling stupid and stuff. No, now you're the one. I ain't even gonna say he looking stupid. He didn't superseded anybody on Spotify for the most streams in the daytime based on that information your mole had, your quote unquote mole, sleeper agent, double agent, triple, quadruple agent. He didn't took that and made a bop and he just blew you out the water with it now. You perpetuated this where he just blew you out the water I ain't gonna say his last song because he might come out with some more thigh high, you know what I'm saying? But he took that information and made a bop. And it was just like, I mean, now what? Nobody not finna be in a club. Hey man, y'all know he lied in this song. No, people like they gonna be saying OV. I ain't gonna cuss, but they gonna be saying OVO, HOE, and you know what I'm saying? They gonna be banging that song. Like nobody cares about what's in that song at this point no more, bro. Like so, whatever. Like your original question when you said you said something about Heart Part 6 and stuff like that. That really weakened his whole stance. And the fact that Kendrick's songs wasn't bops, like I'm not finna keep playing these over and over. Let's just say we on a little scale or something. Drake literally he raised the weight off of his scale and Kendrick doubled down on his weight on that scale and it just weakened everything. That scale wouldn't have tipped as bad as it did if he didn't come out with Heart Part 6. That's what I'm getting at. Like, he literally threw a white flag and just tried to cover up and he sounded defeated. And right after he came out with this banger, like, you got to double down too with him, bro, because it ain't looking too good, bro. So him coming out with that was just it made things worse for him, basically, is what I'm getting at. That's my overall thing. So, my bad, that's a little long-winded, but.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. What about you, Josh? Wanna move on to the?
Yeah, I'll keep it quick and so we can
Mhm.
wrap it up. But yeah, when it comes to be fair, I think all of the claims or allegations are all false or exaggerated. Like I don't think Kendrick did anything that's criminal. I don't think Drake necessarily did anything that's criminal. However, when it comes to um narratives, Kendrick planted a narrative and he built on it and he built on it and finally delivered at the end with Not Like Us. So everything he said, it feels he told you a story and he gave you his proof or whatever. So even if it was planted, Kendrick ran away with it and now the story is his story to tell. If you want to drop more songs and you want to add more to it, it don't matter if it's true because it's already out there. Like I was thinking about it, if I was beefing with Deontay or Jalen or whatever and I make up something and we in school, it's like, oh, something stink, it must be Jalen. Like it wasn't Jalen, but don't nobody got proof, so let's just run with it, and everybody gonna be clowning on Jalen because he stink. But and that's something you want to avoid in that situation. So yeah, I think overall it's just something that Drake did, um, like I said, did his best. Him trying to put the narrative that he put out the leaked information.
Information. Yeah.
One, yeah, it wasn't. You didn't capitalize on it. You could have been making posts about it. You could put posted receipts. You could have had a song ready to capitalize on it, but you didn't do any of that, and you let your opponent have too much time and space to do whatever they want with it, and then he just ran away with it. And now it's out in the stratosphere. It's number one streaming song, and so it's kind of too late to like try to reel it back because you didn't get up out there on the front. If it was a parry, yeah, you parry, you didn't do anything. And now Kendrick he's coming back. So yeah. That's just how I feel about it. I don't like I said, I don't think anybody is necessarily telling the truth. It's all kind of exaggerated stuff. But it just looks worse on Drake's part because it's rumors and pictures and stuff like this that maybe you didn't do anything criminal, but it's enough material for Kendrick to run away with it. And on Drake's front, I don't really see anything that's like, you know, he didn't build a strong narrative. That's all.
Yeah.
He said this stuff about Dave Free, but I don't see any like you didn't build your story. So I don't know what actually going on with Dave Free because I first heard about him like 5 days ago, and you didn't tell me anything new. So that's all.
Right. Yep. No, I mean, I think there was a lot of just missteps. Like I said, the maneuvering was the problem, to be honest. And the king of the internet really got outplayed by a dude that didn't even use the internet. He just dropped songs. So
Domain expansion, bro.
yeah, it wasn't even close in regards to maneuvering. But no. I think this will go down as one of the greatest rap beefs in the history of rap beefs. I think this is probably the most entertaining one, and probably the one we got the best music from because there's plenty of songs on here. Like I said, I'm still playing Push Ups, I'm still playing Euphoria, I'm still playing Family Matters, and I'm still playing Not Like Us. Um, and sometimes 616 in LA. But most of the time, it's Not Like Us, and I'm going straight to Euphoria because I just think that those songs are just superior. For Kendrick, not saying I can't put 616 in LA in there because I just think the first half wasn't really for Drake. I think it was something they had in the tuck, and I'm not interested in listening to Kendrick right now. I'm dissing Kendrick right now. I don't know. It's a different type of Kendrick to me. It's a diss Kendrick, and then there is the regular Kendrick. And y'all know how I feel about some of Kendrick's music, but most of him, I feel like he's a really great rapper and put good music together.
He got
Every
some
time,
L's.
yeah, he definitely got some
Top of
L's.
the moment. Top of the moment. Top of the
Top-
moment.
Yeah, he definitely got some things that's like, all right, I'll let you get off with it, but this dissing the Kendrick that does a diss, oh, that's immaculate to me. So, highly favoring Kendrick. It's not that Drake. I think the win here for Drake is that he is debatable for his fans, which is fine. I think he gave him enough stuff to make it debatable. To me, it's not, but to his fans, there's an argument to be made in some things, and if they can prove that he truly knew about Meet the Grams and all the stuff that's gonna come out after that, then there is some possibility in the future for people to look back on it differently, because Family Matters got crazy stepped on. So, it is what it is there. But all right, let's get back to what we do as a podcast group. We talk about video games. So let's talk about some games.
We jump on Destiny. That's what we're here.
We jump on Destiny. Yeah. Dog pile Destiny.
We normally give big ups to Microsoft, but today we dumping on Microsoft.
Oh, we dumping on them too. Suckers. Everybody get shots. But mostly Microsoft. Because honestly, they reversed their Sony, so I'm not even mad at them, but it's still a bad taste in my mouth, like, situation. But Microsoft situation, that's just like, come on, dog. We all knew this was going to happen. We all knew acquisitions were tough. I always knew Bethesda was bleeding money. I don't know why they bought them, but I knew now that it just takes me into, like, even when they had a good thing, it still looks like maybe it was always bleeding. I don't know, but I don't want to blame Bethesda for a Microsoft decision either. So let's talk about it. Microsoft has closed 4 studios, Josh. I gotta get my story right.
Yeah, 4 studios today. I don't have all of their names right up. Hold up really quick.
Yeah.
Pretty
bad on our part. Let me see. Microsoft closed studios.
Arcane Austin. That's the Redfall studio. Alpha Dog.
Tango Gameworks.
Yep, Alpha Dog Studios, Tango Gameworks, and Roundhouse Studios. Games. So
they went to,
even the executive got the name wrong, but I don't work for Microsoft.
So ZeniMax, actually, Roundhouse Games is getting folded into ZeniMax Online Studios. So they're fine. They're just getting closed down technically, but they're being folded into Elder Scrolls Online, basically. Tango Gameworks, they're closing. Alpha Dog Studios, they're closing. And Arcane Austin, they're closing. And they said some members will be joining, but not all. So, yeah, they closing studios. And that's, I think the worst one out of all of this is Tango. Because they had the best game
Tango,
from Microsoft.
They had the best games, and they put them out, not necessarily fastest, but they put out like 3 games since they bought them. And
Ghostwire Tokyo, Deathloop. No, sorry. Ghostwire Tokyo and Hi-Fi Rush, and then what was the last one?
There was another game they put out, but it wasn't Deathloop. But they had like 3 games they got bought. They weren't, necessarily didn't all set the world on fire, but they were kind of really your only games. Output. Yeah, they were still good games. And it's kind of, Ghostwire was exclusive for a while, then it went multi-plat. So it overall was a weird situation. But let's just put it this way. They bought 8 studios when they got ZeniMax. Now they cut it down to 4. And that's kind of like
bad.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense, especially these studios, they were making games, and especially Tango Gameworks seems like it was the best part of the investment because they were actually putting out good games. Maybe instead of putting so much money to Starfield or Fallout 76, you could put that
towards Indiana Jones.
Yeah, put it towards Tango Gameworks or something like that. Like maybe their games didn't make a whole lot of money, but just give them a decent budget and have them work on it instead of wasting money in other places. But
I think Arcane Austin got kicked because of Redfall. And I think Tango Gameworks got kicked because they own I think the main director, game director left. So and I
There
don't
was
know if it's a
a
shell of its own company now, and they just felt like it wasn't going to be producing what they were producing previously, or what. But
mhm.
for that studio to be just shuttered after making great games, Arcane Austin made Prey. I didn't know that. I thought they made I know they made Prey. Prey was like so freaking good. I'm still playing
Mhm.
Prey. I'm getting through it, but it was really a good game, and it was really well done for a Bethesda game, at least. Anyway, in my opinion, I felt like it was one of the games that got overlooked a lot. But that was a really good game that they created from Arcane. Obviously, the misstep with Redfall, but they definitely had some good games prior to Redfall. So it's a sad day because honestly, I was like, I was hoping that, everybody would just be able to find another job within the company because it's so freaking big. But for the company to have not be able to kind of have capacity for everyone to be able to do something different, it kind of sucks because these acquisitions tell me that even if you grow to be massive, like they literally own Activision now. Like you can't find these developers a new position elsewhere. Like you can't. I don't know if they have like ability to repost for other things or blah blah blah. I don't know the inner workings of what they're doing. I just don't want the impact for people to lose their jobs. That's really what I'm hoping for no one to have to like, you know, deal with that. But I understand that that could be the
From
case
what
too.
from what I've seen, there hasn't been a official announcement of how many people, but it seems like majority at the 3 studios that are closing are gone.
Yeah,
So they
that's
can,
so unfortunate.
reapply to other positions possibly, but again, like if they live in Texas and they gotta apply somewhere in California, then you gotta move. So overall, it's a,
Terrible
it,
situation.
yeah,
Yeah, Arcane Austin is in Austin, obviously,
yeah.
but
Tango is in Tokyo, and
yeah,
they not to the US to work.
yeah. So I mean, it's unfortunate, and like this isn't something that I don't think is going to stop, and I think that they can try to spend it however they want, but what they did was they cost people jobs with these acquisitions. Um, I'm not saying don't stop bleeding because I feel like Bethesda. I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel like Bethesda was mismanaged, and regardless of what they were doing, I feel like they had way too many like games that were monumental to be suffering and to be only be bought for like 8 billion. I think that in my opinion, like they have too many large IPs to be almost getting the same thing as Destiny. I still think that the Sony made a stupid mistake by buying them anyway. But I just felt like there was something there in Bethesda that just didn't seem like they were doing because they just kept doing reiteration of the same games over and over again, and innovation and Starfield probably being their biggest bet. And luckily, I think Xbox came along and saved it because I think that would have flopped. Not flopped. I think it would have been like a situation where down the line they have to refocus their priorities, and the companies that were on the side trying to make games would have to be like diminished, or like they would have to like start to just only do double A games or something like that, like Tango and things like that. So I would have thought that this impact would have happened regardless of the acquisition, to be honest, because I just feel I don't know, something in my spirit tell me, and there ain't nothing scientific about it, but something in my spirit tell me that Bethesda was going down the wrong path. That's just me. But I don't want to put the blame on Bethesda either because this is a Microsoft decision. So it just sucks, It really does. Uh, and I don't really know. I feel like they had obviously had enough money to kind of continue to leverage these studios in the right way.
Yeah,
But
that's, I guess, my part. Whatever they do is going to look bad because
yeah,
maybe they're losing money and the company's too big, the output's not good enough. So we got to cut somewhere. Like obviously, a lot of
hmm
companies are doing that, so it's not just Microsoft's fault. However, Microsoft is also in the position where you're buying these IPs to invest in your future, but
Yeah.
then you're closing whole studios instead of investing in them, and that's kind of the problem. Where it's like you don't have enough games coming out. You've never had enough games coming out, so you bought new studios, and then you shut down whole studios. Like Hi-Fi Rush
Yeah.
was the best game that came out from Xbox for a long time, and it's like a layup to just do Hi-Fi Rush 2, but instead you close them. And that
Yep.
doesn't make sense because the talented people that made the game, they're gonna leave. They're gonna go to join another studio. Whatever technology or expertise they had is gone. Like if you want to do a Hi-Fi Rush 2 in like 7 years, you got to start from scratch. On which if you just kept them around,
Yeah.
like obviously, yeah, you got to downsize, and that's gonna suck, and people are gonna lose their job. But you just close the whole thing, and that's the part that doesn't make any sense. Not to mention it's Microsoft. Like they could take the hit, but I know that investors don't like it and blah blah blah. But
Yeah, we're not even getting Evil Within. I was hoping for that. Like, I'm just like, I felt like that had too many good IPs under Tango to kind of just be shuttered. Same thing with Arcane. I don't know about Alpha Dog Studios, and I don't know about Roundhouse Games, but I'm assuming they were doing um, some form of obviously some type of game. But I was thinking maybe they're more mobile, maybe the other one was more online stuff, but I don't know. All I know is that I know Tango and I know Arcane were two big ones that had the potential to be successful in a way that others didn't. And I think um the value there has kind of just been, you know, obviously to me those were my favorite ones from Bethesda. Like I like what's it is it Doom ID ID Software. I like ID
yeah,
Software and I like ID Software and I like Bethesda in general. I mean I hate on them a lot, but at least they made one of my favorite games of the last few years with Starfield. But at the same time, I've never given a Fallout game a shot, and I think if I played Fallout or I played the other ones, I probably would have more. I would have less value for Starfield because I would be
mhm.
because I when I'm playing Fallout 4 now, I see a lot of the similarities, but I also see a lot more openness in those games. You know what I mean? So maybe that is what people were harping on because it was so cut back. I still like Starfield, and even if I'm playing something in retrospect that may have been considered better, I still like Starfield's polish and everything about it. So there is value in having polish to your game because Fallout is weird when it comes to like not having some things being great, some things being not, and it's just like okay, this is weird. Hit detection, all that stuff, weird. But I just feel like and I don't know, this isn't to harp on them and call them bad, but I just feel like there is maybe stuff we obviously can't see, but at the same time, the shutting of these studios, as you said, Josh, it just feels like they're going backwards. So we'll see. I
Yeah.
mean,
The
we'll
last
see.
thing I want to say, there was a podcast, I guess maybe like 2 years ago that Phil Spencer did. Is that when they closed studios in the past, it was because that they weren't not necessarily they never close studios because they're not making money, but they close the studio because they don't see a um a, f- a good future for the studio. Like maybe the leadership is not there, or the talent isn't there, or something like that. So they feel like it's better to close it, because it's going to be a waste, and maybe those teams can go somewhere else. But I just wanted to point out that the Hellblade studio, their CEO, who been the CEO since they found it, he quit last month, and Hellblade comes out this month. So I don't necessarily say that Hellblade is going to be bad or anything like that, but that again puts in a situation where it's like, okay, maybe Hellblade is great. Are you going to close the studio next year when you know aren't meeting
Yeah,
your financials?
yeah. Like that does put a bad light on it. Like where obviously you know that potentially the guy that had all the great ideas was the game director, and now that they don't really have a great communication with everyone on the staff, that it became difficult to work with them, maybe. And maybe they didn't understand it. Maybe it was more of a situation where,
Yeah.
they working on Evil Within 3, they working on Hi-Fi Rush, and things weren't going as planned, and they just felt like it would be better to close them down. um I just don't know. I mean, like I said, we don't know everything that's going on, and I
We
don't
don't know
want to shoot them
everything.
bail, but I know that this is
Yeah,
wrong.
I don't want to shoot him bell either, because
Yeah,
actually want to say it on Sony's side, where Sony cancels games, Sony cancels studios. I think that's a normal part of the business.
yeah,
But as being a first party studio, you have to be able to bring in good management. Like it,
yeah,
sure, your guy who been there since the beginning left, but that's not to say that. Are you saying all the other 100 people in this company are incompetent without this one person? Like,
yeah,
no, bring in a good manager, somebody who can work with the people, learn who is good in the company, promote the people that need to be promoted, and keep the thing going. Like, sure, some games need to be canceled. Like maybe Redfall should have been canceled 2, 3 years ago, but y'all stuck with it and it didn't come out great. But it's like it,
yeah,
it doesn't have to be shutter the whole thing because it's going bad. Like, yeah, cancel the game, start something new, do something smaller, move people to different companies, like do something that's good at management. And I feel like Sony, I mean, they're not perfect, but they've done a better job of that because most of their studios are successful and they're not closing every year.
yeah.
I mean, even though
No,
they
no.
just closed some studios in the UK, Sony does it too. But I feel like Sony is willing to shuffle up management to try to make something work.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can tell because, some of their games have very much a lot of similarities, but they understand that the value of their brand, I guess, so that they understand, at least the management wise, what sells, what doesn't, and maybe I don't know if it impedes on people's creativity or not, but I would hope not. But they at least have some type of, similar type of structure for their management, I think. In regards to keeping things
Yeah, and maybe
like
it
like
works. 'Cause
keeping things tight and making sure that stuff is not done on time, but also the product and the level of quality of it too. So yeah, I think a lot of that stuff. I'm pretty sure that stuff helped Stellar Blade, their management team coming in and probably assisting with some things. I don't think it just was them doing it off on their own. I think that there's a lot of value in probably having Sony as your backing sometimes, even if they're doing a great job of just doing AR and like um just pulling talent. They also have something there that put that extra touch on it. I think that's just something that they do well. Um, but yeah, that sucked. It's pretty unfortunate, and um, I think there's just a lot of value in holding on to these studios and these IPs, and obviously they still own the IP, but it just feels like there is a lot of loss at this point in regards to gaming industry in whole. So just wanted to definitely talk about that. We're going to jump to the Sony part real quick because we're running out of time. But Sony decided to force they decided to force PC players to do something that nobody ever wants to do, and that's they tried to add a requirement after purchasing, and the requirement was that you are supposed to have a PS Online login ID. But the thing about that is that it does. PlayStation Network is not in every country that Steam is in, so some people weren't going to be able to play it anymore, regardless of what they did, because this new requirement, even after fully purchasing your game and stuff like that. Steam being Steam, great guys, great people over there. That's why I'm buying a lot of stuff on their system, on on their platform now. They decided to, still honor people's refunds, even if they put 100 hours or whatever, because at the end of the day, they changed the requirement. Even though it was there at the beginning, it wasn't necessary until like I think it's gonna be a month from now. Anyway, Helldivers became to get super bombed on like reviews, a lot of bad press. And this game was, people love this game. People really love the game and really enjoy it. And they,
For a long time, yeah.
yeah, it's been breaking records for a very long time, and like consecutive and concurrent view players and stuff like that. So a huge negative to the brand of what is their Anchor? I forget the name of the studio, but Arrowhead Studio and PlayStation. And obviously it's not Arrowhead's fault. They have to understand. They have to go with what Sony wants, but with a lot of determination and PC players being very, um, I guess it's like a more so a community thing, really, that they were able to get them to reverse it. And it just showed that we do have a voice in a lot of different ways, but it's got to be collective, obviously, and it got to be strategic. And I think with a lot of the Steam reviews being mostly negative and a lot of the discourse online, what I don't like about it is that there was a lot of people, going at the community manager for Arrowhead. I just think people are just sometimes toxic. They just don't understand the fact that people are humans. It's not something that she or they decided to do, but that is one negative thing that came out of it, but everything else was very positive. I think the community came together very well. I think that the decision to reverse it was the smart right decision. And I think Sony lost a lot of people's trust in a way, especially when it comes to their games coming to PC, when it comes to that PSN login. And one, I can be honest, it doesn't bother me. I already have one, doesn't mind it. If they have like cool connectivity, if they have anything for cross save, I'll sign up every day. So it's not like it's something that I feel like, oh, it may not get better over time, and PC platform being able to share connectivity with the PlayStation won't be a good thing in the future, because I have a lot of games on there with saves that I just can't use, and I'd rather play it on my PC now. So if they are doing connectivity things, I don't want to stop them, but at the same time, I don't want it to be a requirement. So there has to be a middle ground here, and I think once they find it, I think there'll be a smooth sailing. But right now, that was very problematic. I'm glad they just switched it, which was really good on their part. I mean, if something's going to be reversed, when it's something's reversible, please reverse it. And I think that this was one of those situations where it was definitely reversible. I think it does hurt their reputation on the PC side, which wasn't always that great anyway, because they kept putting ports over here that wasn't the greatest, especially for some of their great games that have come out on PlayStation 4s and ran well, but you can't run on your PC that has a much higher GPU than other stuff. It's just like sometimes there is a problem with the ports, but this being something else is like a line in the sand for people. So I'm glad they reversed it. I'm glad they understand what the sentiment was, and I hope they learn from this in the future. But yeah, I don't think the best thing that came out of this is that our voice really does matter, and I think we have some input on these people sometimes, especially when we are very vocal. Not so much on Nintendo. I think they go on deaf ears, but some people that care about public perception, they do change stuff. So that was really good on them. I think outside of that, well, let me, before I continue, anything to add to that conversation?
No, Sony just made a corporate decision that was dumb, that negatively affects consumers, and consumers fall back. So overall, it ended out good. Going forward, they still said that they're gonna implement PlayStation requirements for other games, for like multiplayer, like Ghost of Tsushima. When it comes out in a few weeks, you will need a PlayStation account, PlayStation Network account, to play online, but the single player won't be affected. So I mean, overall, they're still going to push it, but this game was a weird case where you didn't need it in the beginning, and now you're going to literally block people from playing the game without it. And people were not going for that. And so, yeah, they shouldn't have accepted it, and I'm glad that they fought back, like you said.
Yeah, facts. I think I don't think anybody should like like I said, I think that the good thing that came out of it is simply that we collectively understand that we are powerful. I think that is the most important thing that came out of it. We always knew that, but I think this just provided us a little bit more of that dedication, because even if they had the community not only had the desire to overwhelmingly negative the reviews, but then they switched it once the switch came to make it positive again. So it's like they came together to down it, but then they came back together to put it back where it's in its rightful place as a really great game. So like I said, we have a cool voice. And I think Steam only I think Steam is the only one that really allows us to share our opinion like the best. Um and like give us a platform to do so. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe y'all have different thoughts on that, but I think that that's really the main one where at a like at a product there and allowing us to voice it in a way that actually makes a difference on their product page. So yeah. What else? What else? What else? Hades 2, or do we want to talk about on the Switch? Jalen, you copping? You getting you a Switch 2 in 2024? No?
Man,
Maybe.
maybe.
We can talk about it a little bit. I guess I don't have a whole lot to say. Is that I'm interested in it. I like the handhelds, and
Yep.
Nintendo has the IPs to get my interest. So whatever they put out, I'm looking. I just hope that the device is not disappointing, and I'm stuck with the device that I don't like, but I have to play it. I hope that
Yeah.
they've had what 8 years to work with Nvidia to like get some new technology. And I feel like, I mean, if an Nvidia wanted, they could lace them up with some great stuff. But at least try to get some modern technology this time, because handhelds are really good now. Even the cheaper ones are really good. So there shouldn't be an excuse that you got a super low end Android chip now.
My
Other
my
than
my worry.
compatibility and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you go ahead.
Oh, no. I ain't want to step on your point. Go ahead.
No, that's my whole point. I'm interested in the IPs. I just hope that the device is modern. I feel like they don't have an excuse. We can still get a $300 like good handheld without cutting too many corners.
Yeah. Well, let me get yours first, Jalen, before I start spewing stuff. Go ahead. What are your thoughts on that Switch 2?
Uh, I don't really got a whole lot of thoughts about it, to be honest with you. I kind of forgot about it. I mean, it's been 9 years. Didn't they send a direct? They're not even finna talk about the Switch too.
Yeah,
Like,
Oh yeah, sorry, we didn't even talk about the news. I guess where in a investor call they said that they're gonna reveal it later this year, and they're planning to release it next year.
by
So
March
yeah, it's
2025 at
not been
least.
fully revealed yet, but they've confirmed that they're gonna start their rollout for it later this year, and we're gonna see more about it.
Yeah. So,
uh,
so
I
that
mean,
is the news, and then I guess your do you still got your Switch?
yeah. Somebody asked me about it. I don't think I played my Switch like outside of playing like party like games, like local multiplayer type stuff. I don't think I actually cut my Switch on and played it at least like a solid year just playing something on there. Um, I mean, I'm expecting the similar things that's gonna come out with the Switch 2, or whatever they're gonna call it. But I don't I don't have any like high hopes and stuff like that. I mean, I expect the same thing. They probably gonna implement a new gimmick or something like that, and I mean they're gonna have other games, and it's gonna give them more justification to make a game cost $70 that they already been doing right.
Oh my goodness.
um,
Very.
but I don't have any hopes or anything for it. I mean, like I said, I haven't played my Switch. It hasn't been a Nintendo game that I really wanted to play. I might get the Switch 2 at some point down the line. I probably won't get it at launch or anything like that. Because they probably gonna remake Zelda or something and put that on the Switch too. They might make it 80 or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I don't got no big expectations or anything like it. I just know that I'm gonna get a system where they put decent, like pretty good games on it because Nintendo do good with their games for the most part. It's probably gonna be lacking some features and have some primitive things on it that we look past that with Nintendo and stuff like that. And it might have a new gimmick type thing going on, but that's really about it, man. I'm not like, like I said, yeah.
Okay. Well, no. I mean, I know. Not too big on Nintendo. I don't think any of us are really at this point in our lives, but I think Nintendo still has, the potential to wow at some point. I think they kicked off the handheld thing the best, and I think with the iteration of the Switch and people seeing the functionality of it, I think that is a big leap for how people felt about the Steam Deck coming on the scene. And I think what they did still indicated a better way of to do a handheld, in my opinion. So, I am looking forward to what they decide to do and what people steal. Honestly, I don't really want what Nintendo has because I don't like their platform at this point. I never really enjoyed what they have to offer as a platform versus their games. But what I want to see from them is what do they decide to do with the technology, probably some AI stuff. I'm expecting the video to really want to showcase to people why it matters for them to be in your handheld device versus AMD, And they have always been better at upscaling and all that stuff. They have been in the lead the entire time. Like AMD has not caught up. The expectation is for them to catch up with the RDNA 4, but we will see. There has been obvious AI driven improvements for a very long time that showcases that even at a lower res, you can get a better experience with AI. So my expectation is for them to lean heavy into that. And if they're not leaning heavy into that, that's concerning because not one does it always it's like optimization. It's a lot about power consumption and it's a lot about, the ability to make games longer lasting basically. If you can upscale and do these types of things to make stuff look better. But I know people have been talking about the specs of the Switch 2. Honestly, I'm gonna just wait till I see it because honestly, the same thing is going on with the PS5 Pro for me. I feel like it's going to wow people more than what we expect simply because there's some new technology in it that nobody's probably ever seen before and implemented in a way that might be good. So I don't want to kind of just, I guess I'm over just looking at the specs now because the specs really tell me a story, but at the same time, there's a lot of stuff going on with technology that is making things perform better than what it could, just like we're seeing with the Windows handhelds and stuff like that, and in the Steam Deck. So what I'm excited about is just what they have to offer. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Will it change anything about how I engage with my Switch? Probably not. Like honestly, I'm probably gonna play the Zelda game at a better resolution. And that's it. I don't think I'm gonna pick anything else up. If I'm playing something, honestly, that's like only reason I want to play Zelda on the Switch is because the achievements and the saves. Like honestly, that game too big to be messing up my save, messing around with MU deck or something. Like I'm just paranoid at this point because I lost my save for Fire Emblem. So it's just, that's one of those things where I really don't like the I really don't like using it for those bigger games, but as stuff gets better, as stuff technology gets better, like I said, I did join the cross save stuff and like being able to back up your saves and things like that. So that might be more comfortable with me in the future, but at the same time, sometimes those experiences don't be as polished as you would want them to be at the beginning. So if a game is highly anticipated, I'm definitely going to still default to the Switch 2. But if there's an opportunity for me to be able to play those on different platforms, then I'm gonna take it, to be honest. Still buying the game, of course, but I'm gonna take it to be able to experience it in the way I want to. So, but yeah, that is my thoughts on the Switch too, to be honest. And yeah, I'm anticipating it though. I'm definitely excited for new technology. That's what I'm more excited about. New technology, not necessarily what they're doing, but I know that they are innovators and they're probably the most unique people out here still making video games. So I'm excited to see what they do next, gimmick wise, because sometimes their gimmicks work. So, um, but moving on to the next topic, and probably last, is Hades. Um, Hades 2 came out on early access. I think it got a 9 on IGN. It's pretty successful right now in early access. Um, and my thoughts about Hades is basically that I liked the first game. I liked the premise of it. I liked the the replayability of it. I liked the whole roguelite part of it. I liked the cutscenes and like the actual story of it was actually interesting to follow too. You learn new stuff every time you tried it. I think all that stuff was dope. Um, I don't know if I'm ready to play Hades 2 yet though. I don't know why. I think I just have so much more going on that it's nothing about the game itself that I'm like, oh, I don't want to play it. I would rather go back and play Hades 1 right now for some reason. Like I think simply because of the type of game it is. I think it's the same. It falls in the same category for me as Ghost Runner 2 because I don't think that the changes are. I don't know. I'm not trying to be a hater. Sometimes the changes for those types of games don't be significant enough for me to feel like I need to play it immediately. Like I didn't feel any different when I played. And I forget the name of the. I'm trying to think of the game. It had a part two, but I know right now Ghost Runner is like two is like $10 or $15, and I was like I should pick that up. But I played Ghost Runner Run, and I was like, yeah, it's cool, and I would like to play more levels. But do I really need to play another like same iteration of the game? And maybe I'm just giving it too much of a bad rap for these iteration of these smaller games, but I don't know. When y'all play those types of games, the second plat, do y'all feel like they do enough to kind of justify, jumping in immediately? But maybe people just love those games a lot, and that's fine. But I guess when I play those games, it's more casual, it's more lighthearted, it's more, you know, pick up and go, but not really sit there and dedicate time to it. So when I do see those new iterations of those games, I just kind of feel like it makes me want to go play the first one that I played already and kind of just, play it to more, you know, play it more fully, I suppose, than to actually buy the next one. And I don't know if is that a disservice do you guys think to those types of games? I know they put a lot of time and effort into them too, and it's not like it's reviewing bad. I just when I think of Hades, I'm like, you know, I just play the first one. That's $5 right now or $8. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, I think that's a normal feeling. I kind of not fully feel the same way, but yeah, I kind of am not ready to jump into the second one because I feel like the first one is really good and I'm not getting enough new stuff yet. I think people call it like sequel-itis or just something that's iterative, Oh, the
You think
first
it's a
game you can
success
shoot.
tax? I'd be more inclined to play a game that wasn't so great the first time around, that is great the second time around. But if it's a game that was really great the first time around, it might be really great the second time around. I feel like I'm less inclined to play it. I don't know.
Mhm.
But I didn't
Yeah,
do that with God
that's
of
part of
War.
it.
I guess that's a story game, but I didn't do that with God of War. I didn't do that with Horizon. But these are all story games, I guess. Technically, I like the stories more than I like the iteration and changes more than anything.
Mhm.
So maybe that's just a difference. But I don't treat Hades as a story game. I treat it like more of a gameplay game. So
Yeah, and I think part of it, well, there are two things. Like it's a sequel, so we're gonna
yeah,
do the same thing, but a little different. In the first game, you got one gun. Now you can dual wield. You got two guns. Well, I'm still doing the same stuff, fighting the same gameplay loop
yeah,
is to be the same. That's expected. not that it's bad, but it's familiar, and so when it's too familiar and it's too soon, you're not ready for a sequel. I think
Gotcha.
that's part of it. You're not ready for the sequel.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that, yeah, with success, I guess there's not a lot to improve on unless you're going to change it completely. Whereas the game is bad and then it's better at the same time, you can change a lot. I think that's kind of um, part of the reason. That being said, I'm excited for Hades 2.
Yeah.
Partly, I'm not getting it yet because I just bought Hades 1. It was on sale. I played it before, but I didn't remember the story. But I liked it, and it's cheap, so might as well play through it.
Yeah.
And the second one is in early access. People are saying that it has a whole lot of content. So far, the base game of the early access game has more content than the original game, which is good
That's
to hear.
great. Yes.
Um, but at the same time, that if that's true, then I have no reason not to wait because it's just going to get more and more stuff over time. So yeah, that's how I feel. I'm going to finish up Hades 1 until I'm tired of it, and then at some point in the future, I'll buy Hades 2.
Yeah.
It's more expensive than I thought. I mean, it's not really expensive. I guess the studio deserves it because they've been putting out high quality.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I was surprised. Like, dang, why is so expensive? Ain't this early access? Was like, well, no, we built the whole game and we're gonna keep working on it for another year, and you're getting a year of updates for free. And I think that's valid, I guess.
It's a different way to do
But yeah.
early access, honestly, because it's
Mhm.
not like technically, it's like you're getting the full game, but you're also getting a bonus versus, I don't know, maybe that's a better way to approach it than to try to sell you a full price game and then sell you DLC or just to do patches to fix the original game. Like at least they're giving
Mhm.
you the full fledged package at the beginning and they're just adding on versus other way around. People will give you a broken game and fix it as the time
Yeah,
goes
it's
on.
not broken up front, and we're gonna
Yeah,
fix it, and then you're happy at the end. We give you
yeah.
something solid,
But that is
and
what
it's
early
finished.
access is meant for, though. That's what's funny about it, because
Yeah,
early access is meant for it not to be completely completed, but they're doing it like a different way, where they're like, okay, we're gonna give you a complete game, but we're gonna give you more content because we didn't finish the that stuff yet, and it's like that's a little different. So it's a cool way to think about it, but maybe more people should think about it and polish your game.
yeah.
So like no rest for the
But
wicked
it's
right
fair to
now.
not
Yeah,
want to jump in on it yet because
yeah,
it's a pretty simple game. It's a roguelite. Basically, you're just getting a different character and different weapons, some different power ups. It's not a completely different experience.
yeah.
But that being said, if the experience is still fun, there's nothing wrong with that.
True.
You just get on it when you're ready.
I
Okay.
think we had talked on something like that when we was talking about Zelda. Like, I think it's different if you're
Mhm.
playing a game for the story versus playing it for the gameplay. It's not the sham Zelda or say that they didn't have a bunch of changes and things like that. But I remember we was all kind of talking about like, you're not as compelled to play it. Like it wasn't as not that we didn't want to play it. It's just like I could play something else maybe. Like
Mhm.
we kind of know we're going to get like what type of experience we're going to get playing it. So
Yeah, I think definitely Zelda got hit with a success tax. I think I like this first one so much that when I played the second one there was a lot of familiarity, but there was a lot of new too. But I think it did diminish my want to immediately play it and finish it because I didn't finish that game for a very long time. I still haven't beat it. I feel like I've seen a lot now and everything. My wife beat it, but I have not went through and finished the game, and I don't think I'm gonna do it anytime soon. But the gameplay itself, is still fun and enjoyable. So, oh yeah, for sure, for sure. But that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything else, and we're really running up on time. So, anything last words before we get up out of here? Nope. All right, we gonna leave it at that. Kendrick is the best. Not just Kendrick definitely gave us a show. Drake gave us a show. It's unfortunate that it is something else happening right now with people getting shot, security guards at least. Um, But I'm hoping that none of this stuff turns into something ridiculous. I think right now, I think both of them kind of got out unscathed. Everybody knows that these things are lies. I don't think Drake. I don't think anybody with some sense believes that Drake's a pedophile. It's a hard accusation to follow, um, but you know, I don't think anybody believes that Kendrick is having marital problems or that he's hitting his wife. But all things could be true, but I don't think that the perception right now is that these dudes were just lying on each other because there's no proof, and they just put on a show. So I'm appreciative of the show. I really wanted it to stay that way, not become into something terrible or sad or unfortunate for sure. I think that this is one of those situations where hip hop can definitely go left too fast, and I don't want that to happen. So, but yeah, overall, really good, fun weekend. Enjoyable. Got some music, and we're gonna leave it at that. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, with some more stuff to talk about. Again, hopefully we get a little bit more things happening that are not just sad, like Microsoft and all that stuff, but we hopefully that these people start to turn around and we start to see some cool stuff happening. You know, E3, or I guess the time frame of what an E3 would be, is coming up soon, so we're going to get a lot of new games and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I might just take off a couple of days just to do that. I don't know. We'll see. I really want to go somewhere, but it ain't gonna happen. But yeah, all right. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening. If you guys to this part, you're the real OG, and we will see you all next week. Peace.